Bashar al-Assad, the ophthalmologist thrust onto the world stage, was never meant for the spotlight. Born in Damascus in 1965, he was the second son, free from the weight of expectation. His father, Hafez al-Assad, ruled Syria with an iron fist. Bashar's older brother, Bassel, was groomed for power. Bashar, the quiet one, pursued medicine. He trained in Damascus, then London, specializing in ophthalmology. He seemed more comfortable with the intricacies of the human eye than the complexities of Middle Eastern politics. His world was one of science and reason, a far cry from the brutal realities of his father's regime. Bashar was described as shy, even awkward, a stark contrast to his charismatic older brother. He met Asma Akras, a British Syrian investment banker, while in London. Their courtship was discreet, their wedding in 2000 a closely guarded secret. Asma, with her Western education and modern outlook, was seen as a breath of fresh air in the suffocating atmosphere of Syrian politics. Their union, however, would soon be tested by the capricious hand of fate. In 1994, tragedy struck. Bassel, the heir apparent, died in a car crash. Overnight, Bashar's life took a sharp turn. He was recalled to Syria, thrust into the world of military academies and political maneuvering. The shadow of his father loomed large. Hafez, the cunning survivor, began schooling Bashar in the art of power. Bashar embraced this new path, learning the intricacies of Syrian politics and cultivating relationships with the military and intelligence services. He rose quickly through the ranks, his name whispered with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. He lacked his father's ruthlessness, his brother's charisma, yet he possessed a quiet determination. The transition of power upon Hafez's death in 2000 was surprisingly smooth. Bashar, the once reluctant heir, became president at the age of 34. He inherited a country burdened by corruption and economic stagnation, a legacy of his father's iron-fisted rule, but there was a glimmer of hope. The young president spoke of reform, of modernization, of opening up Syria to the world. Bashar's early presidency was marked by cautious optimism. He spoke of political and economic liberalization, a Damascus spring that promised greater freedoms and prosperity. He allowed for greater freedom of the press, released political prisoners, and attempted to tackle corruption. He courted Western leaders, eager to shed Syria's image as a rogue state. His wife, Asma, became a symbol of this new Syria. Elegant and articulate, she championed social and cultural initiatives, promoting education and women's rights. The couple, with their young children, seemed to embody the aspirations of a nation yearning for change. But beneath the veneer of reform, the old structures of power remained firmly in place. The Arab Spring of 2011 would prove to be a turning point. As protests swept across the region, a wave of dissent, fueled by years of repression and economic hardship, washed over Syria. The regime's response was swift and brutal. Peaceful demonstrations were met with live ammunition. The country descended into a maelstrom of violence. Bashar al-Assad, the ophthalmologist who once promised reform, transformed into a ruthless dictator clinging to power. His forces, backed by Russia and Iran, unleashed a campaign of unimaginable brutality. Cities were reduced to rubble, civilians massacred, chemical weapons deployed. Millions were displaced, seeking refuge in neighboring countries and beyond. The Syrian civil war, a conflict of unimaginable suffering, became a defining tragedy of the 21st century.